Good afternoon, everyone. It is 3 o'clock on Saturday, October 29th. This video will be going over the week of Sunday, the 30th, up until November 4th, 2022. So, just the week coming up. Before we get into the week coming up, I want to go over what we've seen over the past about 2 weeks and what we can maybe expect going forward. So, what I'm looking at here is just the weekly plan from last week, and note the circles. Last on the 17th, on Sunday the 17th, we got our major bid during Globex at 35.87 ish. On the 23rd, 24th, we got it again during Globex at 36.50. Again, just this past week on the 24th, 25th, Globex session at 35, 94, and then again at 94. So what I'm getting at is that all of the bids that we've had so far have occurred during Globex and not during the RTH. So in other words, smaller amounts of trading volume occurred in order to pop us up to a point where the RTH major volume is forced to cover. So this ramp since 3590-ish back on the 17th or 16th or whatever that is, that ramp from 3590 up to now 3900, this 350 point ramp has just been built on low volume, kind of, for lack of a better word, just shitty low volume short squeezing. And I think we've seen that in action. Is that the RTH comes, we get squeezed a bit, and then we fall off a little bit, and then we get squeezed again during Globex. It's what I'm trying to get at is that any real amount of sell pressure, whether that's during FOMC on Wednesday or any of the other numerous events hitting us this week, is that any real sell pressure is likely to make us lose this 90 bid, lose the 35 bid, lose the 48 bid, lose that 35.90 bid, and come down to new lows on the year. It won't take some crazy amount of selling to do so. It's just this market's just being held up on shitty Globex bids, which then squeeze the RTH session. So that's what I was looking at last week. We held that pivot almost to the tick, and then played around that 94 area, largely holding it. Apple and Amazon caused this wick here. And then yesterday we had a monster squeeze from about 38.20-ish up to 39.20-ish. So nice 100-point rally. So let's go into a little bit of a bigger view for a second. I've highlighted a few boxes and a few circles here. What am I looking at? Again, talking about the short squeeze, what I'm mainly referring to is this box here. This late September to late October volume that was done has been squeezed, and now we're looking at chewing through this area from about 38.50 to 39.70-ish. Above that, we're looking at this next main clump of inventory, uh, especially this zone here from about 4,200-ish to 4,350. And so for potential targets, what we're looking at is 39.62, the pivot. And then above that, we should expect some bullish momentum towards the yearly halfback, which is sitting, I think, at 41.48. And I wouldn't be surprised if we spend some time filling out this lower volume area. This has been a low volume, quick area every time we've gone through it, on the way down in June, July, back up in July and August, back down August, September, up and down. It's been a low volume area, but I do think we might spend some time filling it out on our way to 41.48 if that's what we're given. So let's go into the actual week coming up. We have a ton of news. ISM and JOLTS on 10 o'clock on Tuesday. ADP non-farm employment change 8:15. FOMC of course on Wednesday, as well as the presser at 2:30. Unemployment Thursday and ISM during the RTH. Friday hourly earnings, non-farm employment change, unemployment as well, and FOMC Collins is speaking at 10 o'clock. So we have a ton of news this week, which I'm sure will bring us some great volatility. What I'm looking at is 38.0575 as our pivot. That simply corresponds with value area low from the week thus far. If you were to also look at a monthly profile, and the time frame might be a little too high here, but if you were to look at a monthly profile of October, the value area high, I believe, is sitting at 38.05. So a move below 38.05 puts us back below last week's value area low and puts us back inside October's value, which would likely move to the POC or value area low, sitting at around 36.70 and 36.20 respectively. So about here and down here. Again, I've highlighted the Globex bids that have moved us up so far. This pivot also corresponds with the October highs from early in the month, and we would be looking to get back below the September area around 37, 35-ish, and then we can make our way down towards 36.50, 35.90, and new lows on the year, perhaps targeting that COVID low. I doubt all that happens this week. What I would instead expect as sort of the if you want to call it expected lows, could be 36.50-ish, and the highs, honestly, if if the FOMC does turn out to be a pivot, I would not be looking to short this thing. 39.68 lines up with that higher time frame pivot. That is simply, I believe, the Q3 point of control. Above that 40.51, that 40.54.75 being value area low from 2021, which becomes more and more irrelevant as we reach the end of the year. Those 2021 numbers become less and less relevant. 41.03 is our yearly VWAP. 41.48 is our halfback on the year, and 42.23.75 was our prior halfback on the year, and I believe the 2021 POC and mid sitting right around there as well, and our major swing high 4,300. So what I'll be looking to do is really try and not rely on a weekly plan this week. It did well this past week, like I was showing. We held our pivot to the tick. That 94 level was very important. So did that 67 level end up being numerous times throughout the week. And then above 39.06, we are now looking at 39.68. But for tomorrow, I will not be looking for the week coming up. I will not be looking to rely too much on this plan. Instead, what I'll be looking at it is sort of to get an idea of context when we may be swinging 100 points in a day, just with all these news events hitting the tape this week. Hope that helps. Hope that's informative. If there are any changes to this, which there might be tomorrow, I will be posting those to Twitter. Other than that, have a great week, and really, quite honestly, this would be a great week to size down and trade a little bit safer. Hope that helps. Have a great week.